Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all our viewers. Welcome to Evening Review. My name is Okito Greg. Today in studio with me, I'm joined by Mr. Shaun Gariseb, community activist here from Windhoek. Good evening, Shaun. How are you, sir?
Good evening. Thank you, Okito. I'm doing great.
Excellent, excellent. On Thursday, 8 Windhoek residents will take the City of Windhoek Council to the High Court for a civil case. It's quite unusual. Can you tell us, how did we get to this point?
Yeah, thanks once more. Look, when we started advocating for, how can I put it, for service delivery,
Yes.
We explored different avenues. It was to give social pressure. It was to give pressure to the political appointees in the council.
Yes.
But the most important avenue that we did not explore was that of the legal route.
Yes.
And this was the last of the avenues that we relied on in order to get what we want. So after having knocked on various doors in terms of getting what we want pertaining to service delivery, where we felt City of Windhoek was not doing what they are supposed to do, we ended up mobilizing legal action against the City of Windhoek, and then through the Directorate of Legal Aid, we got a lawyer, and then that's how we arrived at this situation.
I understand that you've previously referred to the City of Windhoek's defective billing system. Can you elaborate a little bit about that, and also share some examples of what you're talking about?
Look, when we started and when we initially petitioned the City of Windhoek, we were asking them, why is it that even when ratepayers are making payments towards their municipal accounts, why is it that there is no difference on the account? How is it so possible that my account is able to behave in a way that from 3,000, I just in the space of 6 months, I can get to 80,000? So they were not forthcoming with anything. They were not forthcoming, like that's tradition to them. They were not explaining to us, because we were saying we do not want debt write-offs, because that is something that has been happening for 15 years, and we still end up in the same situation. Let's get to the crux of the matter and understand what is the root cause of why we get into this problem over and over as ratepayers and residents of Windhoek, so that we can solve that. So what we realized was that even when people are making payments, people even go and make loans, people get help by their children and those that are better off than the situation they are in. They still get back into the same situation. So while we had this back and forth petitioning them, going to the ombudsman and various offices to compel them to avail documents to explain this, what is on our statements to us, what happened was that activist employees of City of Windhoek informed us of a defective billing system, and we got evidence to that extent. So we exposed that, and them initially they were trying to deny, but we have overwhelming evidence to prove that there was even an instance where an account went from 2,000 to 200,000. They couldn't explain that. So we went to realize that a leakage cannot cause that, because then that must mean it must be a leakage, or it must be 5 swimming pools in one. It's not possible. So we realized that this could be the doing of a defective billing system. Why we say it's defective is, or why they admit it, is that billing system is malfunctional. So in a way that it can bill you amounts that you don't owe. So even there was an instance where a resident privately took them to court and won the case. There are many residents who want to remain anonymous, and they take the City of Windhoek to court, and then they win this case because of that billing system. The problem we are having is City of Windhoek admits that there is a defective billing system. They just don't want to admit that this is the unexplainable escalation of debts is because of that defective system, because they know what that will mean. It will mean we will come with civil action against them.
And now you have come with civil action.
The civil action we have come to them with, it's not only pertaining to the billing system. It is actually corrective justice in a sense that we, for example, let me just put it to you in short. In June last year, I petitioned the East Electricity Control Board, wherein I was opposing the hiking of electricity, and then successfully so. In that, I succeeded in because government eventually subsidized 365 million or so. But also with that, I raised a complaint wherein I said that Section 3 of the Electricity Act of 2007 has provision for economic regulations and technical regulations. One of those is that local authorities are not allowed to block electricity for a water bill. Local authorities are not allowed to block electricity for a water bill. Local authorities must also avail information, for example, their debt policy or their credit policy. If we ask for these documents, we must be given. Those are some of the provisions that are within that legislation. And this specific local authority, City of Windhoek, is the only one, is the only local authority from all other local authorities that is blocking electricity for a water bill. So that complaint was given to ECB when I was opposing the hiking of electricity. And we succeeded with the hiking of electricity. And also ECB gave a directive. That directive was to say that stop your illegal practice of blocking electricity. That is how that is one of the orders that we seek in court. We decided to go to court so that we can ask ECB why are they allowing them to continue with this illegal practice. And then the other one was that I was telling you earlier that they don't explain to you anything. We want an order saying that what is on my statement. The statement must be very clear as to say that what does it mean when my account has gone from 3,000 to 80,000 or 3,000 to 25,000, 3,000 to 15,000 over a period, especially when my service is suspended. There's no explanation now. If you go there, you are just told pay a certain amount, make an arrangement, and then we'll reconnect your services. But even while your services are suspended, your account is just escalating. So we also seek an order. We also want a notice before your services are suspended. Those are some of the orders we seek. And then not only that, even what is very, very important that listeners need to know is that one of the orders that we are saying is that the minister, the line minister in the line ministry there must be an order given so that the minister can compel the members of council, the councillors that we voted in, those politicians we have voted in who have failed us politically, to be forced to accept and do what they are supposed to do within a specific number of days. If they do not do so, there must be a subsequent order giving the minister to exercise powers vested in him, in his mandate, to dissolve that council. Those are some of the orders that we are sorting in court. And this is a historical intention, and it is an historical direction in that we have been saying from the beginning that we know our obligations towards the City of Windhoek. The municipality needs our financial commitment in order for them to function. It's just that the City of Windhoek has come to a point where they have what we call a mammoth spirit. Everything is about draining money out of the residents to an extent that they have even forgotten to be objective. That is what it is.
Just before we move on to the next point, there were also reports of cutting off prepaid services. Do you still find that happens, and how does the city justify that?
Yeah, look, what they are saying is, you see, what we were telling them is they were relying on their own regulations. And we were saying that there's an enabling act, which is the Electricity Act. And then there are regulations under that act. You cannot then come and decide that you are going to cut prepaid services, because prepaid services, even when I've bought electricity, that is the electricity belongs to me.
You paid for it.
I've paid for it. Now you are coming to prevent me from using it. That is a violation of my constitutional right. You see, so we explained to them this, and then funny enough, the City of Windhoek then towards the end of the year also took ECB to court to say that the court must explain to them as to why the ECB must be allowed why that decision of the ECB must be allowed. But that is not the decision of the ECB because we complain. It has been a standing practice. So, and then they are saying they were not consulted. City of Windhoek is doing a lot of things without consulting stakeholders.
Yes.
They are doing a lot of things without consulting the ratepayers and the residents. But now they are saying they wanted to be consulted. Consulted for what? It is just a practice that you have been doing wrongly.
Yeah.
So the ECB was just giving you a directive. It's not something they came up with in June to say that just because Shaun Gariseb and the ratepayers have complained, we have now made a decision to stop you. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So they are misinterpreting things deliberately, and then they are relying on the wrong, or they are only relying on, it's the same as you, I drive your taxi, and then I make my own rules.
Shaun, we have to just quickly move on because our time is limited. Just last week, Shaun, you were with community leaders from Gobabis and I think Kahanya, and you approached the ACC. But earlier you were saying that City of Windhoek is the only one doing certain things. Why were you guys together, and why were you approaching the Anti-Corruption Commission?
No, what I meant was, City of Windhoek is the only local authority which is disobeying the direct, that standing practice of the Electricity Control Board pertaining to blockage of electricity for municipal, for water debt.
Yes.
But why we were at ACC is, now that is a common problem with local authorities. It is maladministration, and it is that had to do with the appointment of a debt collector.
Yes.
That is something we have experienced in Windhoek, we experienced in Wolfish Bay, we experienced in Hendy's Bay, we experienced in Gobabis. It was also experienced in Keetmanshoop.
Yes.
But it was at all times. What we are complaining about is the truth, and it gets settled out of court. So what we went to do at ACC was that we realized in our communication with each other as affected ratepayers and residents of those various towns, 12 towns, because last year 12 towns, the activists of 12 towns, we together sorted audience from the president so that we can take this, elevate these issues to the first office.
Yes.
So what we then realized was that at ACC we also have complaint, and these complaints and the investigations are being dragged. So it was against that background that we decided, let's go and follow up and understand why, when we are complaining about the same debt collector, that the red flag is not taken seriously.
Yes,
that's why we were there.
Okay. And even in the lead up to this, in fact last year, you went and made a complaint at the Namibian police.
Yes.
Can you explain a bit more about that process and how far it's gone?
Look, that complaint was about the billing system, because it's a known fact now that there were people who knew that there was a defective billing system.
Yes.
Now, maybe for context sake, when some people do not understand what it means, when the burden, what it means. There's somebody who told me in a church that they were working in the NDF. They got a pension.
Yeah.
From the pension, almost half of it they settled on this, because these debts can escalate to over hundreds or thousands. They made a huge payment, and 3-4 months they are back at the very same amount.
Yeah.
It escalated to the very same amount, and they did not understand, and they did not get answers. So what we are saying is, people knew that there's a defective billing system. People knew that they are taking money from us that they are not supposed to take.
Yes.
Then why did they wait for us to expose this? So we made cases against strategic heads who knew about this defective billing system, because when those employees came to us, they told us that they also raised this and said this will cause a problem. That's how we made criminal cases against these heads, and we are also going to follow up that case this year. We have given the police. We have problems with the police in how they deal with certain issues, and when it comes to certain issues, they are very quick. That's why it's the same issue we had with with ACC, where we were saying for small fish you are so fast, but when it is big fish, then you are taking your time. So that is the same thing we are getting. Why is it that when it is these white collar crimes of these big heads, the approach is lethargic, but when small time criminals, it's because I work in that space, I know very well that sometimes even just on allegation or suspicion, people are arrested.
Yeah. Do you know if the police is still investigating?
No, we know the investigating officer. In December, when we wrote to the IG, where we told him that should Red Force harass us, just know that we are going to make cases. So we also, in that letter, we told the police officer that we have a problem with this, with the investigating officer who's forever not coming back to us, because we have followed up. So we are very soon going to visit the Inspector General pertaining to that case.
Thank you very much. And on that note, we will just break for a short commercial break, but we will come back to delve into this issue more deeply. Thank you very much.
NTV's second annual awards 2025. This is how you can vote for your favorites. Save Synergy chatbot number +264 85785 6231 and send hashtag NTV Awards 2025 on WhatsApp and follow instructions. These are the categories you can vote for. Viewer's Choice Presenter of the Year, Precious Ngitaunapo, Toivo Njebela, Joe Marie Dadi, Aina Kweyo, and Brian Munango. Chill Personality of the Year, Miss Gideon, Jericho, DJ Vuyo, Captain Swazi, and P-Star. Voting closes 8 February 2025. NTV Awards 2025. These are your nominees. Show of the Year. Viewer's Choice Presenter of the Year. Lifestyle Show of the Year. Public Affairs Show of the Year. Sport Show of the Year. Sport Presenter of the Year. My Zone Show of the Year. And Chill Personality of the Year. NTV Awards, celebrating creativity, dedication, and impact.
Welcome back. My name is Okito Greg, and with me in studio is Shaun Gariseb, community activist here in Windhoek. We are discussing the action being taken by residents who have taken the City of Windhoek Municipal Council to the High Court, specifically about defective billing systems and other practices. Shaun, just recently the City of Windhoek issued a statement, and in that statement they were talking about metering for electricity services. You took exception to that statement. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely, because we are of the view that the matter is in front of court, and City of Windhoek is trying to address a serious issue by trying to, they even call it a trying to rectify. So when we were seeking audience to sort out what the problem is, you are only able to come back while we are in court, and then you want to behind, like on the side, rectify. Yeah. This can have an effect on the court, on the outcome of the court matter, because if residents allow this process to go through where they are coming to correct their mistakes, because we must be able to justify when we are saying that, because we want an order of correction by the City of Windhoek in terms of how they are charging us, how they are billing us. That's in front of court. So for City of Windhoek to say no, this is to do with metering, and there was a head of that project who was telling me on social media that I'm misleading the residents. Yeah. Then I said, how am I misleading the residents when you are saying that it's this project is to rectify? Then he says, no, it's just pertaining to meters. I said that it's pertaining to meters. And then I said, are you also asking about the billing? And he says he doesn't know about it. So that is the attitude of these people. They think they can just stand up and do things the way they want, and without taking into consideration how we are affected. You know, when you are coming from normal households, these things are very serious. They have a major effect on how people live. Yes. I always say that it's not easy to have an 80,000 water and electricity debt. You don't sleep well. People don't sleep well. Yes. You see, people even come in this January and they're telling me we've made payments of this extent in December, and now all of a sudden we're in this situation. Some people thought when there was this spaza debt write-off, they are out of the problem, but they are already back in in where we initially were. And these are things we have been talking. For them to come with a project where they are saying they want to correct meters, we don't buy into that, and we are calling on the people not to allow these people to come and tamper with their meters until we see out this court matter.
Yes, the civil case.
Yeah.
And do you expect that there will be a criminal case to follow?
Yeah, definitely. That's why we have made a criminal case. There is a criminal case. Look, here, one of the objectives is not only reform, it's also accountability. We are going to have people accountable for taking us. You remember, it's been 3 years that we have been up and down with these people, and we have been seeking for honest answers. For example, I'm not at the Red Force. But the people come, and if you see what how the livelihoods of people have been affected by debts that they were not supposed to. People have never said that they are not in debt. We know we are in debt, but we're just saying that how is it possible? How is it when I'm having an account at a furniture shop or at Edgar's?
Yeah.
It doesn't behave like that.
Yeah.
And when my services are closed, how is it while my services are suspended, my account went to this extent? I've made huge payments, but still nothing. So these things, somebody must account for this, because this is a deliberate way of making money out of the residents.
Yes.
And they are aware of that.
You know, just coming back to one of the relief that you mentioned being sought in this High Court case, where you want the minister to force the council to act in this. Do you think that in general our political representatives are accountable for their actions or the actions of the institutions that they head?
Yeah, look, they are supposed to be. You see, we are in this situation because of their political differences, or their political and bellies working together.
Yeah.
Because of their interest, they have worked together, or they are working against each other at the expense of the ratepayer and the resident.
Yeah.
So they must be held accountable.
But in our current system, I mean, is it necessary to take political leaders to court every time for them to be held accountable? Is it a defect of our current democracy?
Yeah, of course it is. That's why you see us at the forefront of taking in compelling this institution like ACC to act accordingly against these people, because they have known this practice of not being held accountable. Tomorrow they will not be in office, and then they will just go home. They think they can just do as they please and leave that office and go, and then we must sit with the problem for then we get new political leadership who comes and does this, comes with promises and does the same thing. No, we must hold them accountable, and they must pay for what they have done.
But Shaun, do you think it's fair? I mean, these current councillors, we're going to have a local authority and regional council election later this year, and then those councillors that are listed in your case will quite likely be replaced. Should they then still be subject to this court case, which might not be concluded at that time?
No, the court case will be concluded very soon. The court case will be concluded very soon, because there's little to there's even no reason why they are opposing this matter, because we are relying on legislation that is there.
Yeah.
The directive is law.
Yeah.
It's the people are giving you a directive according to the law.
Yeah.
So you cannot come and just say, just because we have violated the law, you must now go and change it. No, you can't do that. Or just because you are saying we as City of Windhoek have our liabilities exceed our assets by 1 billion. That's why we must make money out of innocent ratepayers and innocent pensioners. Now we are going to have a program where we are going to illegally charge you for parking tickets.
Yeah.
Now we are going to illegally block your electricity so that we can trap you into coming to pay. No, we cannot allow that. That's why we are saying we will correct these things while they are in office. When we went to ACC, we said that ACC should complete investigations while people are in terms of office, so that we avoid this situation where somebody is gone tomorrow or the investigator is gone and then the case, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Because on that day we were even saying the instance of Chume, people were exonerated. Yeah. And that is the problem we have. That's why we are taking on this thing from all angles. The City of Windhoek, we are taking them on for all angles, and we are even proving along the line which institutions are toothless and which institutions are actually effective, so that we can put it on the table and tell you, you people in the media, that this institution is useless. Don't go to this institution. Let's go, or let's take the things into our own hand. That is what we are doing.
If you guys are successful in this case, and there are corrective steps ordered by the court in terms of paying back what has been claimed from residents unlawfully, are we talking about hundreds of thousands? Are we talking about millions, hundreds of millions? How big do you think the correction would have to be in terms of finances from the City of Windhoek? And would it only be limited to the 8 complainants in the civil case, or do you think that there will be justice for the rest of the city's residents?
Look, when we decided to go to court, there were 500 people who were willing to go to court. Legal aid is a government provision which cannot afford to give a lawyer for all those 500 people. And also our courts do not have provision for class actions, where we cannot go 500 people. But everybody is an interest party. So those 8 people you see are the people who are having the most circumstances. Because you will see those 8 people, they have the circumstances that affects many of the people. So all of us, we are even more than hundreds of thousands of people. So just so we understand why we are only having 8 people, it's because of that and because of the limitations that we have as to how we can. There is no provision for class actions. Otherwise, we could have gone there with 20,000 people to the court, and there will be parties. There will be parties that are there will be plaintiffs, but we cannot do that. That's why there are only 8 people.
I see. I see. We're almost out of time, Shaun. What time is the court case, and what is your message to other Windhoek residents in terms of it?
No, Windhoek residents must know that what we are doing is in the interest of the city of Windhoek and the residents and ratepayers. Some of us are originally from Windhoek. 90% of the council members are not from Windhoek. When it is December, some of them, even long weekend, they are in other towns. Maybe they do not appreciate what we are trying to do. What we are trying to do is to prioritize, we want City of Windhoek to prioritize service delivery. So we are calling on all ratepayers and residents who are able to come on the 6th of February, which is Thursday, at 2 o'clock to the High Court in town. If you are able to, let's go there, and then we hear, even if it's a cameo appearance, we can also go, so that we can also see our lawyer, and then we can be briefed by the lawyer to understand henceforth which days we will come back, what is the way forward in terms of the case, and what it means, what status hearing means, because there's also an extra plaintiff that was added. So let's just come in our numbers, and then let's just go in here, and then we can just engage the lawyer a little bit and understand. But people should not sit back and think, just because I'm not handed over to a debt collector today, tomorrow you can be in a situation where that defective billing system affects you. It has done that. Many people, and people who are regularly paying their accounts, the next morning you wake up and you see your account is flown. So let's support this, because it's in the interest of correcting how things are done. We have no personal issues with the leadership of City of Windhoek or the people who occupy positions. We are not interested in working there. We are not interested in anything. We have no grudge. All we want is for politics to be taken out of service delivery, and that mammoth spirit of just draining money out of residents to be taken out of City of Windhoek. Let's concentrate on things to better City of Windhoek and to better service delivery. We are willing to make payment towards our municipal, or to honor our municipal obligations. Let the people also understand that. That's all.
Thank you very much, Shaun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us and listening to this evening review. And please also follow developments closely, because it affects us all. We want the best for our city and for our country. And I wish you the best for the week ahead. My name is Ogito Greg. This is Evening Review. Thank you very much. Good night.